Welcome back to the Repro Review Show. Today we are talking about a game that was a pioneer in the survival horror genre on the Super Nintendo. This is Clock Tower. Clock Tower was made by Human Entertainment, who also made a Repro Review Show alumni, Fireman, from 3 years ago? Yeesh! It was released on the Super Famicom in Japan only in 1995, never seeing a release in North America or PAL regions. This game was also ported to the Sony PlayStation in 1997 under the name Clock Tower: The First Fear, which had a few more embellishments to complement the better hardware. But again, that was only released in Japan, so you have to go down some unofficial routes if you want to play it. As is often the case in older games, it has been fan translated, and that ROM has made its way through repro sites, so English-speaking retro game fans can discover this cult game for the first time. You play an orphan named Jennifer Simpson, who is adopted with several others by the Barrows, a wealthy family with a very large estate. They are brought over to Barrows Manor, and it doesn't take long before things go south. The Barrows are not who they appear to be, except for the crazed, mutated son, Bobby, who is exactly who he appears to be, a lunatic with giant scissors. This is the main antagonist of the game, Bobby Barrows, aka Scissor Man. The look of the game is apparently strongly influenced by the Italian horror film 1985's Phenomena by Dario Argento. The design of Jennifer is actually based off of Jennifer Connelly's character in the movie. Yeah, that checks out. The gothic horror backdrop is emphasized with dark blues and blacks all through the game. It's genuinely creepy looking and has definitely got atmosphere to spare. While much of the game is still screens of specific rooms, every now and then there will be a cutaway scene of usually still frames of detailed pictures, almost like a gothic horror comic book, in like wonderful 16-bit quality. The music is actually very sparse, often only coming in during moments when danger is near. That creepy music cue is the earliest indicator that Scissor Man is somewhere near. The music actually sounds pretty familiar. Actually, it kind of reminds me of the Exorcist theme, which always kind of reminded me of the Halloween theme. Hear what I mean? They're all pretty much cut from the same cloth, but all very effective. Clock Tower is a point-and-click adventure game, an unusual genre for console gaming at the time. Sadly, this is not compatible with the SNES mouse, but given how the controls are structured, I don't know if it would have worked with the mouse. It would probably have to be restructured a bit. Would have definitely worked as a PC game with a mouse and keyboard, though. What you do is take Jennifer through the mansion and click around trying to find objects and keys along the way that will give you more access to locked rooms and hallways. The more rooms you open and secrets you find, the more you unravel the mysteries of what's really happening in Barrows Manor. Hopefully you can find all of your friends and escape with your life. Your click or primary selection button is Y. To stop in your tracks, press X. Holding A brings up the selection of items if you need to use them. B serves as a panic button. In extreme situations, you may need to have bursts of energy to climb up from broken ledges, run as fast as you can, or even fight off Scissor Man. You press B rapidly, and hopefully you do so enough that you don't die. Also, if you just want to move left or right, you can actually use the shoulder buttons, L and R, to go left and right, respectively. Jennifer's life meter is not determined by injury, but by her fear level. So if you just run around carelessly all the time, sure you get where you need to go faster, but it seems to scare her, so don't do that. Just check your portrait in the corner. Blue is nice and calm. Then green is kinda nervous. Orange means you're getting pretty freaked out. Red is you're pretty much panicking, but don't worry, you can chill out just by finding a safe place to sit and wait. See? Just sit there and wait and your stamina restores. Sure does take a while though. I mean, points for realism I guess, but I am literally doing nothing. Like, I'm not the one who needs to rest, but here I am resting. I guess it does make me kind of sleepy. That is one of the more important things to highlight in this game. It is very intentionally slow. Just to get started, you need to talk to everyone, pace back and forth, and then talk to everyone again. Then you can actually open the left door and begin the game proper. At least you're able to jump right in with quick start, because otherwise you have to watch this very lengthy intro every single time. It's definitely worth seeing once, but I am glad you can skip it. I'd say that the pace is very intentional because it must be. A lot of care was taken into giving it that gothic horror feel. It's like a very slow horror movie with very intense moments. But sometimes this slow pace plays pretty counter to the story that's playing out on screen. See, here I just got away from Scissorman, so I'm going to run upstairs. Or rather, I'm going to very carefully and slowly stroll up the stairs. I guess she feels safe walking up the stairs because Scissorman can't run. He's holding scissors. You shouldn't run with scissors. I love the ambition of the game. You can find up to 9 different endings that are determined by the choices that you make. And that's not counting the many ways you can die along the way. I'm talking about reaching an ending. Now, I have not actually reached any endings except for what I'm assuming is the worst one, because even there, I don't make it. Oh, I do like that they keep track of which endings we've completed though. Even if it's kind of unflattering at the moment. So here's the delicate balance that this game tries to dance, and it mostly succeeds, but also kind of doesn't. So when you die, you can either start from the beginning or continue from where you left off. Every choice you make impacts how the story plays out, like turning on a light switch can determine if a key is in a certain box or not. Choices matter in this game, so by starting from the beginning, you're able to remember the choices you've made and change it up a bit. But if you continue, you have to continue with the choices you already made without really knowing how they'll play out from this point forward. It's hard to try and play again and make minute changes without building myself a chart or constantly consulting a walkthrough. Ideally, I'd like to be able to save my progress at specific points to start new files to see how things branch off, but that is a lot to ask. Best they could do at the time is probably like a Link to the Past system where you have multiple games that you could start from the beginning, but as it is, it's either continue from where you last died or start from scratch. Better than no save feature at all, like Fireman. Sometimes things play out differently from one game to the next, and I don't even know what I did differently. One time I hid in the washroom from Scissorman and he turned back, leaving me alone, and then the next time he barged in and killed me. So just beware that there are factors that I haven't fully figured out, and you may not either. There is so much atmosphere in this game. The best way to play it is on a quiet night with very few lights on. While it may look outdated by today's standards, they really did craft a very spooky feeling game. To that end, Clock Tower really works and is a great way to spend an October night. While it's a very slow game to start, Clock Tower winds up being a very involving piece of horror entertainment. It's quite difficult and it can get repetitive, but it succeeds due to sheer craftsmanship in its art direction, story, and mood. And with it being one of the first survival horror games, you may have to forgive some of the growing pains on display here. It is a truly unique entry in the Super Nintendo catalog and worth giving a playthrough during the Halloween season. So in the end, I have to give Clock Tower 4 out of 5 Crazy Scissorman. That is a game worth adding to your collection. Thanks for watching the Repro Review Show. We will see you next time.